Hello everyone, it has been quite a while, but it's good to be back. A lot has happened since we last talked, including the beginning of fall and winter holidays, and I hope all of you have a safe and happy holiday. So, something that we're going to talk about is very locally focused. On November 13th, Metro Transit, the Metro Public Transportation Authority for Minneapolis and St. Paul, voted to go on strike over Super Bowl weekend because they did not like what the city council did to their Metropolitan Council's contract. Apparently they know about the money. Well, what I'm looking at is kind of but basically they've voted to go on strike for Super Bowl weekend, and I'm very excited for them. And there's plenty of time between now and Super Bowl weekend, so there's plenty of time for this to be fixed. Unfortunately, there's also plenty of time for union busting to announce something this catastrophic so far in advance. But I do hope everything works out for Metro Transit and the workers get what they have demanded and they fix this before February, because that's when Super Bowl weekend is. Also, speaking of Super Bowl weekend, which is also here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, there has been uproar about Justin Timberlake being invited back to perform after what happened many years ago with Janette Jackson. Of course, it may not necessarily be anyone's fault, and it has come out that Janet isn't officially banned from the Super Bowl. The fact that Justin Timberlake said absolutely nothing while Janette Jackson was being hailed and criticized by various forms of media and being uninvited from various events definitely speaks for itself on the lesser individual level of a lack of accountability to the greater level of white male privilege. The only thing we can really hope that he would do is apologize at some point, or let Janet Jackson take the stage during his performance. Realistically speaking, I don't see those things being very likely because he's a white man. Why should he have to apologize for anything that he does or anything that he had a hand in? Pun not intended. But I would like to have greater hopes for humanity. Maybe not necessarily Justin Timberlake, but just in general. And going from Minneapolis back to striking, Orentino College, the FACULTY, head back to work after legislation ends a 5-week strike. And I did actually previously read this one, and the article itself is not very informative. But apparently the Orentino facilitators of this one particular college decided to go on strike, and after 5 weeks they did meet with their proper officials to handle this matter, and what they got was unsatisfactory, so the strike continued until provincial government, until the provincial government ordered them to go back the government basically ordered them to go back to work. And there's also a little branch off of the government to reimburse students that were financially affected by the strike. So basically the government wasted 5 weeks of people's time and made the strike all for nothing, instead of meeting these people's needs as to why they went on strike in the first place and basically doing the right thing. It's pretty widespread that teachers in America are treated very poorly, and if it's anybody who deserves to go on strike, it's them. But I never would have suspected such a thing from Canada and a college where people choose to be But that's definitely something that helps broaden my worldview. Like, I definitely needed to know that things like that happen, because it's not just us, like grocery stores and stuff like that need unions, of course, but for college teachers to go on strike is definitely something that seems more out there in my time. But that's the way of the world. When you aren't being treated properly, you go on strike. Speaking of not being treated properly, billions upon billions upon billions of rape allegations have been surfacing over the later half of this year as I've been paying attention. Of course, it seemed like it started with Trump, and then it just snowballed its way down after he became president. Everybody's heard about Harvey Weinstein. Everybody's heard about Bill Cosby. Of course, older allegations before that happened, but now Brett Ratner, who directed X-Men, and the last one that I saw that was the most memorable was George Takei. But then there are so many more after that. Like, it's just a snowball of things. And I'm glad that these things are coming out. Like, I'm looking at a thing now, and it's just too many things to name. Like, Al Franken and Glenn Thrush and Charlie Rose. People don't even... I don't even know these. Like, it's just a whole bunch of people. And of course, it's not just Hollywood. There's rape allegations coming out all over the woodwork. And I'm always going to believe the victims before I believe the perpetrators. All of these instances should, of course, be investigated with the proper amount of responsibility and respect that should be handled. And the victims should not suffer any more than they already have. And we should definitely get to the bottom of all this, because it's our responsibility as a community to make sure all of our community members are safe. There's certainly more to come. Hopefully this will not be my last video of the year, and I will see y'all later. Have a good night.